Well, I have a lot of people who I know through my work and even in my family who are let's just say that their hearts are not feeling light all the time. They sometimes feel heavy and they feel um, they struggle. And I'm my I often try and inspire them. You can't reach everyone, but you will occasionally see people who have heard something at just the right moment that it's usually when they're seeking, because a lot of people are not seeking. They think they have the answer and the answer is bleak. And if as soon as they give up on that and start to look for answers, they can hear a piece of content. My wife actually has a great story about this. When she was very depressed, we were working way too hard. The business was, early days of struggling, young kids, and she was really bleak. And she heard a Tony Robbins clip, and he was just explaining in the background how you could look at your problems. And I can't remember the exact clip, but it was like a moment of waking up. And I think sometimes it's important, if you're speaking something that's truthful and very philosophical, that's based on something, and people have not heard it at the right time in their life. Like sometimes it is the shift that opens up and that's what I think
A whole
happens.
new life, because you change you change your mind, you change your life, you change your mindset, your life changes.
Yeah.
And it's these moments that you just said, when people seek and then they start seeing answers, is exactly what we were talking about, the law of attraction, or of God aligning the universe to work for you, to start sending you messages and guiding you in the right direction. So it's just for people, uh, they need to be at the right wavelength. They need to be calibrated at the right wavelength to hear and to see those signs and those guidance that the universe wants to guide us to fulfill our greatest potential. That is the journey of everyone, to fulfill his greatest potential in whatever field, whatever dream he has. Even if it's not career oriented, it could be family oriented. She could be a housewife and wants
Mm.
to fulfill a dream with her children and with her husband and all. This is also a very noble dream. This will only be accomplished with once we start seeking, so that
Yeah.
we can see the guidance. It's very true.
This is similar to I have a thing with my children at the moment, which is just aim high in your own way. So it doesn't have to be in my way. So even we do this run every Friday, the park run, and some days they want to try and beat their personal best, and if they don't want to do that, I say, well, what else are you going to do to aim high? Maybe you want to run with your mum, maybe you want to help someone else. But always have to try and do something that is aiming high.
Yes.
And that's, but similar with, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, life is sometimes so challenging that you go into survival. So it's more about surviving than it is about thriving and aiming high. But the difference between surviving and thriving is mindset. It's like in this moment that's difficult, what can I do that would make me aim high versus focus on the bare minimum? And that is when the light comes back on and you start to
Exactly.
grow again, that's what I try and do in the consultation, which will when I do my talk, that's a big part of it. Is about potential, trying to help people find their potential, but it's also very unique. It's not what I think their potential is. It's for them to discover.
Through
Um,
Socratic way of questioning. I love the Socratic way of questioning. It helps people reach their own answers. I love Socrates. When you said you were teaching your kids about Socrates, I taught my brothers, who are almost the same age as your eldest son, I taught them about Socrates since they were very young, like almost 2, 3 years old. And one of the very first things that I taught them, of course, I taught them about the law of karma, that what you give, you get back. And that Socrates said, if you think you're smart, then you're ignorant.
you know what?
And if you think you're ignorant, then you're smart. So it's embracing that the more we know, the more we should know that we don't know. So having that ego, or having that mindset that, oh, I know it all, and there's just no way about it, and that I'm all knowing, that is a very, unfortunately, small mindset. It's a very narrow way of perceiving things. It's only when we open our mind to the possibilities of the impossible and understand that we're very limited in our way of thinking. So there is higher thinking than our thinking, because we're not know-it-all. We're not geniuses. We're not infinite divine. We're just human beings. We have our finite body and our finite organs, and we aim, of course, to keep on excelling, but we're also not knowing. We can't know everything in life. Nobody has ever been able to. So I taught them this from a very young age, and they would very always say it in the most beautiful way. they would always say, like, if I think I'm smart, then I'm stupid, and if I think I'm stupid, then I'm smart. That was their 3 years old interpretation of Socrates.
Yeah, that, and I did the same with my son. I used to say to him, if he learned something new, he'd often be proud, like all children. I'd be like, I'm so proud of you, you learned something new, but you still know nothing. so, so
And there's something that I've shifted with the boys after learning something from this educator. He's Jordanian. I forgot his name. He's a family counselor, an amazing man, very wise. And I always like to listen to his podcast because he's one of those people that always enlighten me, especially when it comes to raising my brothers and daughter. And he said about, when you mention to your children that you're proud of them, you should also mention that they should be proud of themselves, because they should start learning that everything they accomplish is because of the hard work that they have put. And making sure that they are always proud of themselves, and not always thinking that, oh, I'm gonna succeed so that my parents will be proud of me or others. Because I had this issue. I always worked for my mother to be proud of me. I never worked for Sham to be proud of Sham. That was always an ongoing issue. So I ended up living a life and a reality for a very long time that is not my reality, that is her reality. I want anything that she sees as great for me to be done by me, so she can be proud of me. Because at the end of the day, of course, I still want her to be proud of me more than anything, but now I also want me to be proud of me. And that's because I started connecting more with me and what is my purpose, what is my Sham's purpose for herself, not only was my mother's purpose. So it had a huge impact also on my journey in life, and made me more impactful when I became connected with what I want and what's my purpose.
Yeah, there's a saying, I think, that a man only becomes a true man when his father dies in reality or in his head. And the idea being that you free yourself from the expectations of your father to become a full individual yourself.
Yes.
Which I never struggled that much with that, because my dad was very quiet and passive, so he didn't. It was more my mother, actually. She was much more of a driving force. But there is that idea of, like, what do I want? It's similar to the patients. There's something unique in each person, and you have to try and figure out whether that is, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be just to be a good mother, as you said, but it can also be that you want to build a business empire, and it can be both. But you have to figure out yourself what it is without waiting for someone else to say, well done.
Exactly.
Because I think a lot of people spend too long in their lives waiting. In fact, I see it with a lot of other practitioners. They want to produce content and for everyone to say, well done.
Yeah.
But actually, that doesn't always work that way. Sometimes half the people are annoyed because you disagree with them, and that's okay. Is it truthful? That's all that matters.
Exactly. Creating content with intention, not creating content with the intention of, oh, I want to get so much likes and I want people to love it and to say, oh, wow. Not to connect with yourself and see what you want to add, what you want to tell others, and what influence you want to make. Only when it's very truthful and coming from inside will it reach other people's hearts, because it's energy. They will feel it. People will feel if you're being honest and truthful and really within the intention to inspire them, or you're just creating content to make a trend and to have likes, and it's obvious. So I feel like this is what people need to do. Anyone that wants to reach the right, or to be on the path to success, they need to put values attached to themselves, their persona, their brand that they're building. It needs to be based on values, and there needs to be a higher purpose other than materialistic and worldly purpose and intentions. There needs to be a higher purpose of enlightening others, inspiring others, changing people's lives, making people feel better about themselves. These kind of purpose in our field is a must in the medical field. Any doctor going into medicine must always have a higher purpose of treating and saving and changing people's lives. It should never be anything but that. And I feel like with this capitalistic world, it has shifted and has drained the values from almost every every profession. You see that happening in medicine, in the pharmaceutical industry, in all kinds of industries, even in the art industry. It's become a lot of it has become commercial and just for the intention of selling rather than for the artistic intention of inspiring. And it's only with that intention can we really make a profound impact that will be long term and enduring for life. It's only when the purpose is very heavy on that intention and that good intention, I believe.
Yeah. So this is back to the philosophy idea. Like basically, I teach a lot of clinicians, and a lot of them they want to make money. Obviously, they're often when you start, you're struggling, and I want them to make money, but money can never be the number one goal. It's a byproduct, and
Exactly.
it's that question of not what are you going to get paid, but what are you building that is valuable? Because then you get paid anyway.
Exactly.
But you can't do that very well unless you are connected with something that Nessa's love in it. Basically, you have to build something that you feel is a gift and that's really valuable that you would want your mum and your family to enjoy, and then other people come as well. But that sequence is, I think a lot of people, you get a bit stuck on the I need money at the beginning, and as soon as you free yourself from that and say build something valuable, then you can unblock those problems.
Exactly. It's finding that inner Tao. Thank you so much, my Tim. Thank you so much for your time and for this beautiful inspirational talk. What I love about our time together, just similar to the last podcast, I really didn't feel like I wanted to look at any of those questions because I felt like the conversation was flowing in a very organic, beautiful way, spontaneous way that could have never been scripted because it was from the heart. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for being on DAOTalks.
Pleasure. Thank you very
Can't
much.
wait for the coming few days.
It's a pleasure. No, I love your curiosity, and you're a proper truth seeker. As I say, there are many people who are trying to hold on to enforce the world to be a certain way, and other people are curious and they just want to figure out what is the truth, and they look for that inspiration like you have through all these different philosophies.
Thank you.
And you're pulling it all together and then sharing it, which is that's something I can get behind.
It takes one to know one. Thank you so much,
Thank
Tim.
you.